And you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone. I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vogt.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. Yes, we are back. Episode 272. Yes, 272. Oh, crazy in itself. Coming fresh off Super Bowl Sunday, our 6th annual Super Bowl special. Without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in St. Cloud, Minnesota, at Granite City Studios, Paul Vogt, the Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, usually I'm pretty all hyped up, happy to be here and everything. But you know what? No, this week kind of sucks, just based off everything that happened on Sunday. And from that point, yesterday, I really jammed my toe super hard on the corner of the bed. It still hurts. I haven't gotten a decent night's sleep in weeks. Kids are running rampant all over the place.
Of a mother duck.
Pretty much. That is the way you want to sum it all up. But
Thanks,
at least we got the show. And we have table topics tonight, too. So at least there's a little bit of solace in all that. Or at least some good stuff, hopefully, here tonight.
There is some good stuff. We are talking about the fallout of Super Bowl 60. A lot of things that happened between Sunday and through today. So we got some thoughts on that. Yep. But before we get into everything, we got one thing to settle. Shout out to all the zoners that put in their entries for the Super Bowl picks. Pops out to you. We have a tie. Now, this is it is a unusual situation because we didn't necessarily think that there would be a tie between the two parties. Jared Doyle, a.k.a. J-Man, and Mitch Ribby, a.k.a. quote-unquote King of the North. Yeah, whatever. So they predicted, I think Jared predicted 28-17. Mitch predicted 30-17. So doing the comparison there, it's sounding like probably you could go either way on this. So we decided what better way to decide a winner by doing Wheel of Names. Yeah.
Let's do it. Love that for everybody.
Picture in picture Hi, by the way, if you can see Voldy's hat right there, that is the Seattle Seahawks hat because the Seattle Seahawks did win. So, shout out to Jared, shout out to Mitch for getting as close as they did, and shout out to everyone else. But there can only be one winner. So, Voldy, I say we spin the wheel. What do you say?
Let's spin it. Let's do
right.
it. Let's give it a good
actually,
old spin.
before we got to do this the right way. Hold on.
Okay.
I just realized we got to do the drum roll. Here we go.
Of course.
Now go.
Spin the wheel.
Big bucks, no whammies, no whammies,
Says,
no whammies.
Oh, J-Man. J-Man gets the hat. Yes.
Big winner.
Claps out to J-Man.
There we
yes.
go.
You know, the thing is like usually I'd be, if it was Mitch, I'd probably be like, we're not going to make a custom one for him. I mean, why the hell would we at this point in time? But we're feeling generous tonight. We are feeling quite generous tonight. Just because those guys were so close, we kind of just decided they're both getting it. Why the heck not? Yeah!
The more the merrier. Everybody wins.
Everybody
Except for me,
wins.
'cause my team lost.
Everybody wins. So, yes, Mitch and Jared are both getting the hats, the Seattle Seahawk color hats. Or
Gotcha.
if you want to say, well, I'd rather have a Timberwolves, then that's fine. Wolves are playing tonight, last game before the All-Star break. So, hey, got a lot to go with. So you both are getting the hats. We will get your addresses, send them off to you, and you can wear them around Marshall and where Jared is. He's in Iowa. So, hey, shout out to him and shout out to him and Lexi. They are at the Iowa Wolves game tonight. Jared sent me the video, the tip-off. So go Iowa Wolves. We love it. So, yeah, you guys, congrats. Congrats. You're both getting hats. So, yeah. You never know what giveaway could come up next. I'm just saying.
You never know.
You never know. So, congrats to you guys. Obviously, we're talking about the Super Bowl tonight. I mean, it's Tater Tot Hot Take, Super Bowl. And then we're talking about the Wolves. The Wolves, like I said, last game before the All-Star break, a little bit of drama going on with the Wolves. A lot of turmoil, a lot of things said to the media that shouldn't have been said. A lot to talk about in regards to that. And tonight, we got table topics. We got some awesome table topics tonight. Voldy's going to answer it. I'm going to answer it. We are going to love it. And Jared tuned in. He found a way to tune in. He says,
Attaboy. Multitasking. I love it.
woo! I'm telling everyone it's an Iowa Wolves colors. Hey, that's a great idea. That would make sense. Iowa Wolves colors, perfect. You could do both. You could do so many combinations. That's insane.
So many things.
So many cool things. So we got that tonight. And ARA, we got a stacked ARA tonight as always. Voldy has for us NDSU joining the Mountain West. They will be in Division I football. Ooh, a little bit. Ooh, all right. We got a lot to talk
They already
about.
are Division I. They're just going from FCS to
FCS to FBS, right?
We'll talk about it later. I got a lot of feelings about it, and I wish I would have talked to Jimbo about this because he rides or dies with NDSU.
Oh, for sure. Horns up. Auston Matthews named Team USA captain for the Olympics.
Poppy.
They play tomorrow. We will keep an eye on everything in regards to Team USA hockey because we love it. I mean, Billy G is running the show. Quinn Hughes, Matt Boldy, Coach Hines is also not the Coach Hines that you guys think, but the Coach Hines, Minnesota Wild. Not this Coach Hines. But we have that to talk about. Davidnjoku is probably slated to test free agency. What team do you guys think that he should come to? I mean, I've got an idea. It might be obvious, but we'll see.
I've got one as well.
Justin Verlander returns to Detroit. the dream is dead for him to come to Minnesota. More on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
You know the deal. The last thing we got, Montana linebacker granted a 9th season, which is crazy in itself.
Crazy.
We'll talk a lot about that tonight as well. Shield shout-outs as always tonight too, so Shield's got some shout-outs to get to. Before we get going with Tater Tot Hot Take, I'm going to address something because we posted something on the social medias, and I want to clear the air a little bit. And Voldy has some thoughts on the game. We're going to get into the bulk of everything, trust me. I got to clear the air on a couple things. So let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. Yes, the Seattle Seahawks get the victory in Super Bowl 60. They defeat the New England Patriots, and it got entertaining towards the latter half, I'd say. I think a lot of defense and whatnot. It was a very highly competitive game. If you're into the defensive thing, which I am, I mean, I don't mind it. High scoring's cool too, but, this was all right. So, Voldy, we posted on the socials medias my Callahan School of Logic. Was it 2 weeks from now? Yeah, 2 weeks ago now. Yes. That's crazy. 2 weeks ago, I had a full segment on Callahan School of Logic in regards to Sam Darnold, Minnesota Vikings, that whole situation. Now, I did the clip. I sent it out, and you guys can check it out for yourselves. I made the point about Sam Darnold not being as effective as he is right now. If he was with the Minnesota Vikings, they're not in the Super Bowl. Let's nip that in the butt right away. Would not be in the Super Bowl. Is that due to lack of Sam's talent? No, not at all. Actually, to be quite honest, I am very happy for Sam Darnold. I want to clear the air here and say, listen, I don't have anything against Sam Darnold at all. I am happy for Sam Darnold. I'm giving him claps right now. I have no issues with Sam Darnold. None whatsoever. I am grateful for what he did with the Vikings. He did a fantastic job. Not a lot of QBs can get you to 14-3, but things fell apart in the end due to things with the offensive line. I'm going to say this again because I think I need to reiterate this even more, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you were in the Vikings organization, if you're outside it, you're a fan, whatever, 95% of Vikings fans would have made the decision Kwesi and KOC made at the end of that season. Sam Darnold was not good in those 2 games. That's not a knock. It's just a fact. And that made that decision a little bit easier. The Vikings, yes, they went out and gave him a contract. He wanted to be long-term. Seattle flies in, here, we'll give you a long-term deal. Vikings weren't committed to that because they had JJ. They drafted JJ. He was the guy. So you got to trust your guy. I'm telling you, 95% of you would have done the same thing. The only 5% to that are if you're just like Nostradamus or something like that. I don't know. It's insane to me. But the amount of people that sat back and just said, you don't know anything, you're bashing Sam Darnold. I'm not bashing Sam Darnold. I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I have the utmost respect. He played well. I think he missed a couple throws. I think there were some things that he didn't do as well. But with the team that he had, he did a fantastic job. So I just want to clear the air with that. I am happy for Sam Darnold. I have nothing but good things to say about Sam Darnold. So congrats to him and the Seattle Seahawks. So I wanted to quick address that. But Voldy, let's talk about the game. So let's get into that.
Right.
The game, a very defensive game. No, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The offense from the Patriots struggled mightily against that Seattle defense. There were some things that you saw in that game, Voldy, I want you to kind of touch on. Just kind of give me your overall thoughts of what you thought from the Patriots side of things that you were hoping that they do, but they just didn't end up doing here in the Super Bowl. What do you got?
It just didn't look like there was a lot of overall rhythm to the offense early on. Let's just talk specifically about the offense to start here. They really tried to get things going there. They had some brief flashes with getting the run game going, trying to spread out a little bit, get some runs off the edge. Ramondre Stevenson was handling the ball quite nicely for those first few drives and even into, well into the second quarter. Then they tried to mix things up a little bit and try to find some throws over the middle, deep outside as well. But that offensive line could not hold up long enough for those 4 or 5 seconds for, Drake May to find some of those throws on the outside for sure. And it all boils down to that left side of the offensive line with, of course, Will Campbell being the left tackle, and he got beaten up quite nicely. If you're a Seahawks fan and if you're a Patriots fan, you're just like, hold on long enough for at least Drake to get the ball out of his hand. And there was just consistent pressure, could not get anything going on the offensive side there. Even when they were getting something going, then a couple of turnovers late in the second half, even though they were trying to keep things close and try to make a ball game out of things. That one interception returned for a touchdown, and then that one other interception that should have been, a completion as well for Drake May. That would have at least cut into the deficit a little bit more to make it a one-score game at that point. Sadly, did not bode well for the Patriots as well. But the defense in the first half played as best as they could. My goodness. I mean, you limit them to, field goals in the first half, even after, the consistent pressure that we're getting, or at least getting some big conversions on 3rd and long. Darnold with, escaping out of some plays that were for sure sacks the last 3 weeks for the Patriots. And then you also throw in too, just being able to at least get Seattle off the field in crunch situations too. I mean, even the pass breakups that Christian Gonzalez had against JSN, if those balls aren't batted or if Gonzalez isn't covering him, this is a complete blowout in the first half in my mind, and it's well over in the second half for sure. But the defense did everything that they could to keep the Patriots in the ball game, but as the second half rolled on, they were on the field way too long, and then it was just too little too late as the offense tried to get things going. There just wasn't enough overall, reciprocation from one side of the ball to the other. Special teams got a couple of plays there in the second half. Be like, all right, we're in good field position. Let's at least get some points here, and then, get set back on a 2nd and long, 3rd down sack. Now you're facing, 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 20 at one point. You're just, sniffing midfield at that point, and you don't even get a field goal chance. So you got to punt the ball. And then at that point, it was all well and over. But a young team, considering all the key players that they did have that made contributions this season, and just with a first year head coach for that team, I should say, of course, Vrabel's had a lot of time as a head coach, but given what he's had this first year with the Patriots under the leadership of Vrabel, I mean, you got a definite return on investment. Definitely some things to address here with, of course, off-season, draft, training camp as well later this summer. But I feel pretty good given what the overall season was. Just this one game, just it wasn't well, given the fact that coming into it, the defense was going to have to carry this team, and the offense was going to have to make as little mistakes as possible. And unfortunately, there were too many mistakes for the defense to bail out the offense overall.
Yeah, and I just think too that Seattle's defense is that damn good. They've built that from the ground up. Last year they had a lot of success. And then, going into this year, I mean, no one saw it coming. No. ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just feel like the Patriots, you were hoping that their receivers would start to kind of break out and get some big plays and whatnot. I think a lot of those plays came in the second half, but it was too little too late. Stephon Diggs only had 3 catches for the 37 yards. Matt Collins had the best game out of all of them. He had 4 receptions, 78, and a touchdown.
Yeah. And touchdown, yep.
The rushing, I was thinking, and I think we talked about this on our Super Bowl special, Voldy, that they were going to have a good day rushing the football. They didn't, to be quite honest.
They didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, they only ran the ball 18 times, but 5 of those were Drake May running out of the pocket. So it just didn't click from the offensive side from the Patriots. If we're looking at how things went for the Seattle offense, it was fine. The rushing was great. We both took the over on Kenneth Walker getting over 100 yards. We were right on that. He got MVP, rightfully so.
He did. For him.
Sam Darnold, let's just take a look at it. And again, Sam Darnold didn't turn over the ball. They didn't turn over the ball the whole postseason at all.
Mm-hmm.
We're not accustomed to that because Sam Darnold was one of the top. He had one of the top turnover rates this regular season. Going in the postseason, he's not throwing anything, interceptions, fumbles, or anything like that. He almost threw a couple interceptions in that game on Sunday, but I didn't think he was on his A game, but he didn't need to be. I mean, he was more of a guy that just don't turn over the ball, just make the right plays, and he did. He had that nice touchdown pass to our guy, A.J. Barner. We were right. Hey, we got it right. We got to pat ourselves on
the one solace out of all of this. Like, all right, at least we got A.J. Barner on the board. So
right. We were like, I was like, green check mark. We got that one.
Yeah.
So there, and again, JSN didn't do much. That's a credit to Christian Gonzalez. He is a very good corner. He did a great job against JSN and whatnot. There's not much you can ask a corner to do, especially against one of the best wide receivers in the game right now. But in the end, the pressure just got to Drake May. I mean, like we said, Riley Mills, the rookie for Seattle, Byron Murphy, another guy that was drafted. The Vikings maybe should have drafted. But that's neither here nor there. Derek Hall was all over the place. Devin Witherspoon as well. I mean, they suffocated that defense, and they didn't give up much rushing yards. Drake May, I feel like, had some good things, but I also thought it was kind of almost Sam Darnold-esque, Voldy, holding on to the ball too long, that whole ordeal as well.
Seriously.
So, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think the Patriots will be back at some point. I don't know if it'd be next year, the year after. I don't know. But I like what they've kind of built. And I think you have to look in the offensive line, like you said. I think they need to go out and get a big playmaker because I think they lack that in this game. Not saying that Diggs is washed. I just think let's just go with lost a step. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Matt Collins, he can get you what he can, but can he do that on a consistent basis? I don't know. So it wasn't clicking. Seattle's defense was suffocating, and they ultimately get the win. Sam Darnold gets his first ever Super Bowl. He gets it before Josh Allen. He gets it before Baker Mayfield. He gets it before from that draft class. Who what was that one?
Before Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, yes. So
crazy.
It's a crazy list of people, and that's credit to Sam Darnold, man. I mean, seriously, I look at that game. and I'm just like, even if the Vikings had him, we wouldn't have been there. There's no way. I mean, it's just we didn't have the O-line. We wouldn't be able to re-sign some of Flores' defense in that too. So, but I got to give credit where credit's due. I did this in Callahan School of Logic. Not even the tip of the cap. I'm taking off my cap to Sam Darnold, and I'd say, you deserve it. You go enjoy yourself. It looks like he was having a couple of brewskis, so that's good for Sammy.
Good for him.
I'm happy for him.
Good for him.
It does sting though. I mean, it stings a little bit because it's like, damn it, like, come on, what's wrong with us? The football gods just don't like Minnesota for some reason. They just don't. They can't let us have good things.
Can't have anything nice.
No, not at all.
Nope.
So, anything else to add from the Super Bowl, Voldy? Anything?
I mean, halftime show was okay. I mean,
yeah, I liked it.
I couldn't really listen to all of it at a reasonable volume because Tate was right next to me, passed out asleep. So I had to enjoy from what I could hear at a much lower volume. But, it was all right. Looking for Easter eggs and all that, too. And saw a couple and mentioned them to you. And lo and behold, I was correct on a couple there with, like, Pedro Pascal and Jessica Alba. It's like, what the heck are they doing there? That's kind of weird. And then Lady Gaga shows up, and then Ricky Martin out of everybody. I'm like, Ricky Martin? What? I didn't even know it was Ricky Martin. I thought it was Jay Balvin at first with that tight hairline and everything too. I'm like, oh, it was Ricky Martin. That's awesome. But
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the atmosphere in Santa Clara was great. I think there were a lot of fans there, and Green Day to open up too, which I thought was very good. Another blast from the past.
Joe Armstrong, always has the Twin Cities connections.
That's right. There's always a connection somewhere, right? Yeah. I liked the halftime show a lot. I thought it was very successful. Looks like Matt and Ben had a great time too at the Super Bowl. The photo did quite well on the socials, so shouts out to them. Good. Last thing before we move on to Wolves here, Voldy. I think you touched on it a little bit, but Voldy, what are your thoughts going into the offseason for New England? I mean, is there besides O-line and wide receiver and some other pieces, is your outlook on the team a little bit more positive now, or would you say I'm a little concerned about this, and this? I mean, what do you think? Where do you think the future's at?
I'm looking at here with kind of a view from both lenses here, positive and negative. Positive with the fact that a full season under Vrabel, they got all the way to the Super Bowl. Negative side, okay, we could use some advancement with maybe a couple of our receivers, or at least some depth there, maybe a little bit more help with the line play as well, and maybe a couple pieces on the defensive backfield side of things. But overall, I look at it, the fact that they ended up with a winning record, winning the AFC East, making it all the way to the Super Bowl as well. It was all fool's gold at this point after back-to-back 4-win seasons with, of course, a new head coach. Now you get another full offseason knowing that Drake May is going to be the starter. You've got Mike Vrabel as your head coach. You go through another draft class, look at some key free agents, maybe those who want to contribute to, of course, the program that they are building at New England and how they are going to develop from year after year. And going forward, I feel very positive about how things are going to shape up here, just given okay, here's what we learned from year one. Here's what we're going to do in year two. How can we build off this success and go forward with another another round here of just being able to piece it all together for another run going into next season. So I feel very positive about how things are going to look for 2026.
Now, I remembered this real quick. The schedule of the New England Patriots. A lot of people are saying that it was an easy schedule. They had an easy road to the Super Bowl and everything like that, which I don't necessarily agree with. But what do you got to say to those people that think that it was an easy route?
You can't. Yeah, the easy route thing is all complete garbage. Even the worst team, the NFL, is still a pretty good team. They are still the best of the best players that came out of their area, their high school, their college program, and even into the NFL. It is not easy to get a job in the NFL, let alone being on the field week in and week out as an NFL player, let alone starter. The whole easy schedule thing, and you can just take that for what it is. At the end of the day, they beat the teams that they were scheduled to play. It doesn't matter the fact that the teams that they played underachieved from what they were going into the start of the season. And the whole playoff run as well, saying that you got, you beat up a Texans team that had no business being there in the first place. They had a top 5 defense, with with their play. CJ Stroud couldn't keep the ball out of the other team's hands as well. Then you go with Denver. They're playing a backup quarterback. Their defense certainly made it one heck of a ball game. Mother Nature decided to deal everybody a bad hand in that one, and the Patriots came out on top. Taking advantage of the mistakes of your opponent is ultimately the name of the game, and how you turn those mistakes into points or at least an advantage is how it works. And you can't blame them for taking advantage of the schedule that they had. Look, they finished in last place in their division. The way that it works is more times than not, when you finish last in your division, you're going to play last place teams the following season. So that's how it usually ends up. And it's not their fault that they ended up playing with teams that finished last in their division last year or the year before that, or from last season. That's just how it all adds up. And the fact that people are blaming and saying, oh, they had a super easy schedule. It's like, well, yeah, that's the algorithm. Even really good teams, that were, division winners last year, are going to play division winners from last year going into next season. That's just how it works. That's how the math all maths up. And now the Patriots are going to play a lot of winning football teams next season. That's just how it all ends up.
That's right.
Besides their own divisional matchups, outside of the division too, I know that they played the Vikings in Foxborough this year. This coming year, I should say. Really wish it was in Minnesota, even though they played them at US Bank for the preseason. I wish it was a regular season game, not on Christmas, not on Thanksgiving, not some other weird holiday time like they usually do every time they visit Minnesota. But the fact that people are throwing that out there, it's ridiculous. It's completely dumbfounded, the fact you can't blame the team for playing the schedule that was set up months ago. I mean, the fact that we already know who they're playing before the end of this regular season wrapped up, it's stupid, honestly. And we'll see what the actual schedule looks like coming up here, I believe sometime later this summer or so. It's usually right before training camp that they, like May, usually right after the draft or something like that. They get that all put together, and obviously with the, TV schedule and everything, they'll probably get a few primetime games, which I'm looking forward to. But people are blaming the schedule as stupid. I mean, you might as well blame the weather, which they frequently did during the playoff run as well for the Patriots, saying that they got an easy road to the playoffs. But they played top 5 defenses all postseason, and sooner or later it came back to bite them, just because of the fact that the Seahawks defense was so dominant in the postseason, as from the whole season actually too, and also the Super Bowl.
I mean, they're just dominating. I mean, that's the thing. And it's the Rams gave up a really good fight. It's just Sam Darnold was better than Stafford that day. I mean, it just comes down to it. Yeah. So, that's a wrap on the NFL season. Thank you all for who did pick them and whatnot. And we'll do it, next year. Fantasy football, the whole
always come back.
Kit and caboodle. That's right. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to those Timberwolves real quick. A lot of drama within the Wolves organization right now. The Wolves lost 8 of their last 13 games. They lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. They lost to the Clippers, who have been playing better as of late, but still no excuse to lose to that team because you're better. I mean, it's that simple. They lost to the Pelicans. You shouldn't lose to a terrible team like that. That's quite embarrassing, to say the least. But after I think it was the Clippers game, Rudy Gobert kind of said, if guys don't want to be playing defense, then they can sit on the bench and everything like that, and the coaches need to do that. A lot of criticism from Rudy Gobert about certain guys not playing defense, not giving effort and whatnot. Chris Finch took that not to heart, but he said, I wish he wouldn't have said that to the media and whatnot. But, it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe this should have been a private conversation instead of Rudy going out there and just kind of saying stuff like that, to be quite honest. I feel like there were a lot of heat against Finchy. I think a lot of people on social media are saying Finch hasn't adapted. He's not getting these guys motivated and whatnot. Be quite frank, I think he has done a great job, and I think maybe it was kind of a wake-up call for everyone to kind of come together. So, Voldy, based off of what you heard, they won against the Hawks. They destroyed the Hawks.
They did.
And they played a lot better. And if you're going against our tribal chief, Naz Reid, acknowledge your tribal chief, Naz Reid, you best not miss. And that guy from the Hawks, he missed big time. So, but it looks like things are starting to get back on track. They're playing Portland tonight. Voldy, what are your thoughts on this Wolves drama? What do you got?
I think we're starting to reach a bit of a fever point because of the fact that, there has been a little bit of inconsistency as of late here for the Timberwolves, given the fact that they've not only lost some key games, but they've gotten kind of beaten up in some of these key losses that they've had. And the Hawks game was just, ultimately, of course, getting that win was gratifying as well. But just now some finger pointing really starting to happen, even with the change in ownership, all the things going outside of the, everything happening on the outside. You would think that wouldn't start to boil on the inside, but we're starting to reach a point here where maybe certain players aren't holding their end of the bargain. Of course, given the fact that they had these deep runs, Western Conference Finals appearances the last couple of years, and now you start to look at what the veteran leadership wants to see from maybe some of these young guys or guys that they've traded away, some of these young guys to try and bring in maybe even some more experience or maybe some other youth pieces to say, okay, we brought you here. What are you going to do for us to get us over the hump and get us to the NBA Finals, let alone just another Western Conference Finals appearance? We need to see, results at this point, and some guys aren't doing that. And now the frustration, I feel like, is starting to boil over, even with all the conversations taking place. Are we going to get Giannis? What are we going to do? Are we going to trade Naz Reid away? Are we going to give up our whole bench for Giannis for, half a season at this point? And it didn't come through. Did get, at least a couple of pieces, the possibility of Mike Conley coming back as well for basically nothing, given the fact that he was let go from his couple of trades down in the, with the trade deadline. But now I feel like we're at a point here where the rubber is starting to hit the road. And, I think some guys are just kind of fed up with the fact that they know that they're a good team, but yet they're not getting what they, what they're putting into it. It's just not all coming together like it has in, seasons past. And now it's just the same old game is getting over and over and nothing's coming out of it.
Well, I think a lot of that even before then too, before they made the deal for Io and Phillips, that game against the Hawks, that young man was fantastic. 21 points, like 2 of 4 shooting from 3. That's efficiency right there.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what Jim Pete said, who's been a long time color commentator for the Wolves. He talking about the whole situation. He says they figure it out, meaning Finchy and his staff. Chris Finch and his staff, they're too good. I've been a little disappointed with all the hand-wringing and talk about Chris Finch. There's no gratitude for this guy that has brought us to the playoffs 5 years in a row and 2 Western Conference Finals. I mean, how about some gratitude? I agree with everything he said. Look, you might not agree with how he's done things, but he's brought us to two straight Western Conference Finals. Yes, I know those games didn't turn out the way they did. It just was the perfect storm with Luka and, well, Mr. Flopperton over there in OKC, SGA. But, look, I look at Chris Finch and I'm like, he's probably one of the best coaches the Wolves have ever had, outside of Flip. But I look at this situation, I'm like, we got to give him some more grace here. I mean, if guys aren't, if Rudy's got a problem, and by the way, Rudy didn't play well that game. Why is he going out and saying things like that? He shouldn't be saying it. If he didn't play well, why is he saying this? But I think Rudy should have went to Finch, went to whoever the coaches, and just said, listen, guys, like, so-and-so and, everything like that. We need to, like, get this back, to what we're accustomed to. And I think, they handled it, and obviously Finch talked with him and whatnot. But, look, if you're going to air this kind of stuff out, don't do it right now. It's not a smart thing to do. I get it. It's after a game. You lose the game. You're upset by the way you played. The defense wasn't good, whatever. But if you're going to have that conversation, have it behind closed doors. Some of those conversations don't need to be leaked out to the press because you know how people are going to take it, right? So I think that with fans going after Chris Finch, I think it's unwarranted, and I think it's not smart at this point. This guy has gotten this team out of funks before. He can't do it again? Like, is that a problem? I wouldn't say so. I think he's done a great job. I just think some of these guys, the leaders on the team, whoever's not going back on defense, need to be held accountable. But the thing is, it's not just a Wolves problem. It's an NBA problem. Guys, load management, taking games off, not really playing as much because we see the most competitive basketball when it's the playoff time, which I agree with. I agree with that sentiment because a lot of these teams do it. SGA and the Thunder, I mean, they're being investigated right now because a lot of their starters are out. Like, what is going on? So it's a weird time. So it's not just the Wolves. It's other teams too. So, but they are playing tonight. I'll quick here give a. I think they tipped off, didn't they? Or am I just?
End of the
they
first
did.
quarter.
Okay, so, yep. 32-26. So hey, it's not bad. They got a lead. We're cool with it. So anywho, well said, Voldy. That'll do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this time around. We got some table topics coming your way. We have a lot of table topics. Looking forward to talking with you guys about some key things that we want to talk about tonight. There's a lot of good ones I feel like I've got tonight. So, without further ado, let's get it going with some table topics.
The tables have been set. It's time for MinneZona's Table Topics.
All right, it is time for some table topics. A lot of table topics to go through tonight. Oof, it's a good one. I'm not gonna lie, I've got some really good ones here tonight for you.
All right, I like that.
We'll give a chance for the zoners to obviously listen to this too. So let's start with our first one. Let's go with the first one tonight. We have which one did I start? Wait, yeah, this one. Okay, I'm good. My bad. So this one tonight, we'll start with the Minnesota Gophers. The Golden Gophers. Voldy, this one is hockey-based, so this one should be pretty good. We'll enjoy this one. So what Bloomington Jefferson and Golden Gopher star, defenseman, landed his name on the Stanley Cup as a member of the 2003-2004 Tampa Bay Lightning. So, it's again, the Minnesota connection. Obviously, this is Minnesota-based and whatnot. But, it's
for a Lightning.
Yeah. So, one last time.
You went to Bloomington Jefferson, correct? Is that what
Correct.
it says? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and read that again.
Yep. What Bloomington Jefferson and Golden Gophers star defenseman landed his name on the Stanley Cup as a member of the 2003-2004 Tampa Bay Lightning? Whenever you're ready, Voldy.
It's a tough one. I don't know, honestly, off the top of my head. But, of course, I'm sure I hear the name, and I'll just be like, oh, yeah, I knew that. Boy, that's a tough one. Yeah, former Gopher, too. Oh, boy, that's a
Here's
tough
a hint.
one.
It's not Phil Kessel.
No, definitely not. Well before his time.
Well before his time.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to plead ignorance on this one, and I'm going to catch flack for this one.
That's
I just
all right.
know it.
That's all right. Ben Clymer.
Oh, wow.
Ben Clymer, yes.
Yeah,
that's what we got.
Clymer.
Yeah, I
Didn't
mean
he do like analyst stuff for didn't he
Yeah,
do analyst
yeah,
stuff for Fox Sports back in the day?
Yeah, I think so, because I vaguely remember seeing his name.
I remember
on
the
there.
name now. I just don't remember him, playing. So
Oh darn. Yeah, that was perfect.
lame. Next one.
Well, here we'll do a quick one for you. You can answer this right away. What winger netted the OT winner as the Wild beat the Avalanche in Game 7 of the 2003 Western Conference quarterfinals, making him
Andrew
the final
Brunette,
player? You got it. So Andrew Brunette gets the one there. That was an easy one. I just wanted to throw that out there for you. So, boom, Andrew Brunette. Cool. That's going to go down in history as one of the best plays for the Wild. All right. The next one that we got tonight is someone with the Minnesota Vikings. Somebody with the Minnesota Vikings. This one is pretty good. After trading Randy Moss, our guy, pull your 84 jerseys out, the Vikings used the 7th overall pick in the 2005 draft to drop what wide receiver on the roster? So this is post Randy Moss. This was when he was traded to the Raiders before eventually he got traded to the Patriots. After trading Randy Moss, the Vikings used the 7th overall pick in the 2005 draft to drop what wide receiver on the roster? Voldy, what do you got?
Trying to remember time frame wise if this was correct or not. I feel like it was no, this had to have been. I'm going to say, sadly, a gigantic bust in Troy Williamson.
Yeah. Spot on. You see, in this card was perfect because after it says the Vikings used the 7th overall pick in the 2005 draft to drop, in quotations, what wide receiver on the roster.
The card knew the assignment.
It did.
Knew the assignment.
It did.
Well done.
Oh, it is well done from that. Oh my God. It's just it's one of those things where it's like, if you want to talk about a bust and a bad pick by the Minnesota Vikings, you can criticize this one all you want because this was a terrible, terrible, terrible pick. He was awful. Awful, awful, awful. So, that one wasn't good. Bonus one. Let's do a bonus one.
Okay.
What Brave starter did Jack Morris outduel in a masterful 10-inning performance to win Game 7 of the 1991 World Series?
It's John
Last time.
Smoltz.
Ding, 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 ding. John Smoltz, yes, who is an analyst for ESPN now? Or no?
Fox, I believe. Fox.
Fox, yep, you're right. Yep. Okay, that is right. Yep. So Fox, but yeah, there you go. Troy Williamson, dropping everything. Wow. Yeah, that one's, interesting one. All right, let's go to the Minnesota Twins here. This kind of strikes home because we all know how this is turned out. In what year did Carl Pohlad purchase the Minnesota Twins? What year did Carl Pohlad purchase the Minnesota Twins? I would say when he did, it was probably the worst decision. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, they won 2 World Series after he purchased it. So, I mean, I can't really knock that. But after that, that's a different story. Yeah. Right. So, what year, Voldy and Zoners, did Carl Pohlad purchase the Minnesota Twins?
So he bought the Twins before they won the World Series, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So I'm going to say, I don't know directly off the top of my head, so I'll say like 1983. I don't know.
You're close. You're very close.
Yeah.
Can you
82?
Nope.
84. 89.
84, yes.
2012, I don't know.
Yes, 1984, Carl Pohlad purchased the Minnesota Twins and left his family with a team that they don't necessarily care about. More stuff was talked about today in regards to the Twins, but I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to talk about it. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I don't need to. It's not good for my health, my well-being, talking about those damn Pohlads. So let's end things off with a specific Minnesota Viking that excuse me. Hold on one sec. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, let's do this one. Minnesota Twins, we're sticking with the Twins here.
All right.
Only 3 years after hitting the 20-win mark in 1997, what Twins pitcher led the American League with 16 losses? 16 losses. So I'll let the Zoners think about that. I'll say it again, and then Voldy will answer. So let's do it. Only 3 years after hitting the 20-win mark in 1997, what Twins pitcher led the American League with 16 losses? Voldy, who was that pitcher?
There's a couple of names that pop up from this time. Late 90s, early 2000s, Twins. Yep. Metrodome, ball. I'm going to throw a name out there, and I don't know if it's right or not, but I'm going to say Brad Radke. That's probably not right. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, you are correct. Brad Radke, one of my favorite Twins,
old
by
high
the way.
School teammate.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite Twins, I will say. I really like Brad Radke. I thought he was a hell of a pitcher. Always enjoyed watching him play. It was one of those things where it's like, oh man, I wish, I wish I could watch him play again. I mean, he was so good. I really enjoyed watching him play.
That's when the quality and starting pitching for the Twins really went down from that point.
Yeah.
Then you got Scott Baker, Kevin Slowey, Nick Blackburn. Yeah,
Nick Blackburn.
Glenn Perkins was a starter for a hot minute.
That's right.
Then he became a closer, which was probably the best move for him in his whole career. But yeah,
Eddie Guardado.
Everyday Eddie Guardado. Who doesn't love Eddie back in the day?
Oh man, he was a hell of a pitcher. Loved Eddie. Loved him. So yeah, that's going to do it for Table Topics this go around. A lot of good ones there. A couple layups, but you know what? That's what we got to have here on the show. We got to have a couple layups for the Table Topics. So ARA, Voldy, a lot of ARAs to get through tonight. NDSU football to join the Mountain West. They are in the FBS now. Voldy's got some thoughts. We will discuss here with that. First, Auston Matthews named Team USA captain for the games here. Their first game is tomorrow. A lot to discuss in regards to that, too. So looking forward to talking about some USA hockey. Davidnjoku is going to test free agency, it seems. Where could he go? AFC? NFC? Here? I don't know. Then our next one is, that's not the one. Justin Verlander returns to Detroit, signs a 1-year deal. More on that in a little bit here. And then to round things off, Montana, College of Montana, obviously. Linebacker granted a 9th season. Wow, 9 seasons. That's a lot of years playing college football. Yep. Say that. So, yeah, that's what we got on deck. So, let's get it going with some absurd or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, you want to rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start in the world of college football, where breaking news, of course, the North Dakota State University football program has finalized an agreement to join the Mountain West Football Conference in just football starting this upcoming season. Now, the school will pay $12.5 million to join the conference, making the move from the FCS to the FBS level, as it will also have an additional $5 million it will pay to the NCAA to make the move to the FBS level. Now, of course, winning 10 of the last 15 FCS national championships, NDSU is looking for their next challenge. And coming up for the 2026 season, they will play a full Mountain West Conference schedule that isn't officially finalized as of yet, but the lineup does include teams such as Northern Illinois. They will be making the move from the MAC to the Mountain West. UTEP, Air Force, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, San Jose State, UNLV, and Wyoming. Those are the teams in the Mountain West Conference. After the Mountain West will be losing teams like Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Utah State. So take all the states, move them over to the Pac-12. They are going to be helping to rebuild that conference. So NDSU, after dominance at the FCS level, will be heading to the Mountain West Conference for the FBS portion of their school's program history coming up here for 2026. Now, is it absurd or approved? Now making their level to the FBS, will NDSU finish with a winning record in 2026?
Wow, yeah, that is the big news. They're moving to the Mountain West. Did not know about Boise, San Diego State, and all these other teams. I did not know that. So the Mountain West is going to look a lot different. You almost felt like this was coming at some point. I just didn't think it would be this soon. The Bison have been quite dominant in the FCS. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But now that you're moving into the FBS in a very interesting conference now, without those bigger schools per se. I mean, Boise State is probably the top one within that conference. But now you're in an FBS conference. Now you're playing with a little bit better competition, especially moving up. I mean, they're still Division I, just FCS to FBS. Now, if they're going to finish with a winning record, I almost feel like that's going to take a little bit, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if they do. They've been good for a long time. They've beaten FBS schools. Could we see a Gophers versus NDSU matchup? Just saying. It could happen.
That'd
You
be
never
sweet.
know. That'd be dope. I think they will. Give it my stamp of approval. Hell yeah. Let's go Bison. I think the Bison will have a winning record. I think they might start off maybe a little slow just because it's the new, getting used to the new normal. But I think it's got my stamp of approval. I think they will finish with a winning record. So go Bison. Voldy, what do you think?
Well, I just think after the season that they did have, they finished 12-1 on the season. Of course, getting that first round bye in the FCS playoffs, but getting upset hugely against Southern Illinois at home to snap not only a home game winning streak, but of course a chance to defend the FCS national championship. That was a bit of a culture shock, and I felt like then that was going to be a big catalyst for something to happen, of course, with second-year head coach, now soon to be third-year head coach in Tim Polasek as well, who did win his, national championship in his first season to continue on that strong lineage of, national championship winning coaches. Now you go to a whole different level, of course, from the FCS and dominating, of course, the Missouri Valley Football League for years on end. You lose, unfortunately, that matchup with South Dakota State, North Dakota as well, along with USD and University of South Dakota. That's going to sting for a while here too. But then you have a chance to create something new here with the Mountain West Conference. I mean, Hawaii is always a tough get as well, because who doesn't want to watch NDSU versus Hawaii at 10:30 p.m. Central Time, with the game ending at probably 1 a.m. Central Time. That I'm looking forward to that. If and when that schedule does come out, I will gladly adjust my my sleep schedule for that game as a whole. San Jose State, UNLV has been kind of coming up as of late. Wyoming's always a tough get. Nevada's always a sneaky team. Air Force as well. You never know what you're going to get out of the service academies, but they're definitely going to be a tough team as well to match up against. But I don't like the move overall, because I just feel like there's still more to prove here with NDSU at FCS level. Yes, you've won 10 of the last 15 national championships, but after last season, where they had such a strong regular season, you had a couple of key players get hurt down the stretch, and now, of course, getting upset in the first round of the the FCS playoffs. I felt like this upcoming season was going to be like a redemption, scorched earth tour, if you will, for the Bison to say, look, last year happened. Now we're going to come out and we're not going to feel sorry for anybody, let alone ourselves, and take it to everybody. But now that they made the move to the Missouri, from the Mountain West Conference, I should say, it's going to be very interesting to see how they really stack up against some of these teams that, of course, are at just a higher level. But of course, it will also bring in the fact that maybe some more talent comes in from the transfer portal. Will they have a winning record? Man, I think they'll finish at 500. I don't know if they will get beyond that. Maybe get a bowl game, but they'll probably be playing in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, or one of those other bowl games that happens literally at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday before Christmas. It just, they're not going to get a good bowl game. They're going to get like the,
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Like the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They're going to get, if they get the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I mean, that'll be hot. That's a quality bowl game now. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people putting a lot of shine on the Pop-Tarts Bowl game for sure. But yeah, winning record's going to be hard to come by here for 2026.
We're trying to get the MinneZona Bowl game going, but to no avail yet.
From U.S. Bank Stadium.
From U.S. Bank Stadium. That's right. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. We'll see how it all goes for the Bison here this upcoming year. So it'll be interesting to see. All right. Next one, Voldy.
Heading into the world of U.S. men's Olympic hockey, it was announced here the other day that Auston Matthews will be named captain for the U.S. men's hockey team for the Olympics, joining alongside as alternate captains Matthew Tkachuk and Charlie McAvoy. Of course, he did have the C on his sweater during the Four Nations face-off last February, and it will bring, of course, another chance to lead a squad that made it all the way to the final of the Four Nations face-off. But this time it is for the much bigger prize coming out of the National Development Team program for Auston Matthews. Of course, he does serve as captain for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL. Now, of course, a lot can be said here with the experience and the group of players that the U.S. has brought in for this Olympic group. But with Auston Matthews previously serving as captain, that has certainly something to be said on top of it. Of course, Team USA does open up their Olympic schedule coming up here tomorrow night, and we look forward to that. But now, with Auston Matthews serving as captain, is it absurd or approve under Matthews' leadership this go-around? U.S. will bring home a gold medal from Milan Cortina.
You know, I did not have any idea that I thought they did win a gold medal before the 1980 Miracle team. No, they have not. That's mind-blowing to me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know, I'd say it's got my stamp of approval, him leading the charge. Look, I trust Billy G and what he's doing with this squad. I think he's assembled a great group of guys that I think will represent the USA very well. What's crazy in itself, they haven't played since Sochi. That was 2014, Voldy. I remember watching that game in my college dorm room at that time.
We were at a hotel room down in Kansas about to open up the SMSU baseball season, and we got up ass crack of dawn early because we wanted to watch the game. And two, we were excited because it was our first games of the season also, and I remember watching that specifically also.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's insane. I can't believe it's been that long. Now that it's here with Auston Matthews, he's one of the best players in the NHL. I mean, he's got it all. I mean, he's score. He's very close to, he's trailing Patrick Kane in goals in however many games and whatnot. He is, I think, the perfect person to have as the captain of Team USA. I think these guys will very, very much follow him, and not only him, but McAvoy and Tkachuk. I think even the guys that we have with Quinn Hughes, with Boldy for representing the Wild, this team I think is going to be very good. I think they're going to do some damage. That's the big question. I mean, it's like can the other teams just fight it out and just be done? Because it's gonna be, USA versus Canada. I mean, come on.
That's the hope.
Yeah, that's the hope at least. And it's just, they've had our number. I hate to say it. They've really had our number these past few Olympics. And I just feel like this is a good time for them to say, this is our era now. We're going to take this over and beat Team Canada. But they got a lot of good players on that team too. But I would be remiss in saying under Matthews' leadership, screw it. Give me the stamp of approval. Yes, I think they will get the gold medal. I know the Four Nation face-off. I vaguely remember. I think it was a close one. They lost in OT. It wasn't
Lost
Sidney
in overtime.
Crosby had the game winner, right?
It was McDavid. McDavid had the game winner. Crosby set him up, though.
Gosh darn McDavid. Damn him. So anyway, I'll say yes, stamp of approval. I think he will. We'll get it done. So, Voldy, what do you got?
I think just with the bitter taste U.S. men's hockey has had ever since 2010 when they finished in the, finished with the silver medal. That's as close as they've been to capturing gold since, of course, 1980 as well. But they've had a lot to prove since that time and they've been a lot of underachievements at multiple levels. The World Junior programs really picked things up. World Championships as well also picked things up for Team USA. Heck, Team USA in the last World Championships last go round won their first gold medal in worlds in 50 plus years or something at that point. They never win world championships. And then you also throw world juniors after, them, laying an egg here in Minnesota, but coming off back to back world junior championships on top of that. That was awesome. Of course, the great run that they've had. So all these young players coming up now being experienced guys at the level. A lot of these guys have played with each other, coming up through a few different programs, coming up through juniors and maybe even some other teams, not only at the NHL, but seeing them over the last handful of years, 5-10 years as well, now coming together as a team. Will be very interesting to see. The overall makeup of the team is definitely stronger towards the side of Team USA. I think with this first matchup against Latvia, it's going to be something to take note of, just with some of the different skill guys that they have. It's not, basically a whole all-star team. It's a team made up of guys that can go out and score. They have been looked at guys to play certain roles as well, because you'd certainly think with, of course, being, Olympics and NHL players coming back to the Olympics, that they'd want to get all the best guys on the same team. It's not always going to be like that. You want to develop and build your team not only with having the best players, you want to have the right players. And a lot of these guys on this team are not only the best players, they're definitely the right players given certain situations, whether it be power play, penalty kill, being, you want to go speed versus skill type of situations. Give my stamp of approval. I think Team USA definitely has the right mix of guys on their team to say we can go out and we can not only play a fast physical contest, but we can slow you down. We can, get a little tricky in certain areas. I think for sure Team USA will take home gold under Auston Matthews' leadership.
Hell yeah!
One thing I will say, you mentioned this, the last person that said you don't always have to have the best of the best. You want to have the right players. You know who said that? Mm-hmm. Herb Brooks. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. Next one, Voldy.
Heading into the world of the NFL, of course, the close of the NFL season this past Sunday, but leading up to the start of the new year, it looks like that impending free agent tight end David Njoku said he will not be returning to the Browns in 2026, ending a 9-year run in the NFL with the Browns. Of course, him being one of the many faces of that team that has been a consistent enough player, saying that he ain't effing leaving. It says, I'm not going nowhere. I ain't effing leaving at the end of the 2025 season. Well, he's done an about face with that, saying, of course, taking to social media, saying that he is appreciative of his time in Cleveland. Of course, with the new hiring of Coach Todd Monken, it looks like it might be a rebuilding situation in the lakes, in the areas of Cleveland as well. So now that opens up big things for David Njoku, and quite possibly what the free agent market looks like for the coming into his 10th season of the NFL at the tight end position. Do you think, absurd or approve, will Njoku sign with a team in the AFC to quite possibly get one more run and beat the Cleveland Browns coming up here in 2026?
I see how, I think the Browns are looking at this situation and are pretty much saying Harold Fannin Jr. is our guy. And quite frankly, I applaud them for that because it helped my fantasy team immensely. Oops, wrong one. I didn't do that. But I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to an NFC team. And, I've had some thoughts. And I saw how he played against the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like there is still a lot. I think there's a lot left in the tank for Njoku. I feel like he hasn't been utilized the right way. If David Njoku is available, and this is, let's just assume that the Minnesota Vikings move on from TJ Hawkinson. I'd like to see him back, but not under that big of a contract. If they end up getting rid of him, I'm making the push for the Minnesota Vikings to go get David Njoku. I think it would be a good fit. Now, Does he have enough left in the tank? Does he have injury concerns? Maybe a little injury, but not too bad. But I want the Minnesota Vikings to get David Njoku if he's available. Cheaper option, I would say. And not only that, but it doesn't mean that you can't draft somebody in the NFL draft. There's a lot of moving parts right now. I'm just throwing that out there. I like David Njoku. I think he was underutilized in Cleveland. I think he would be a great addition to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if I were to choose an AFC team, will he sign with the team in the AFC? I think that's a little bit more likely. It's a little bit more likely. I've gone through some of the teams in my head, and I'm not coming up with any great fits, but I feel like a good fit for him, Indianapolis. No. They got what's his name?
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, he was really good, by the way, too.
He did great wonders for my fantasy team.
Yeah, it all balances out. No, I'm thinking of an AFC team. Maybe the Titans, like if they get it going with Cam Ward a little bit, maybe kind of going there and being paired with Robert Saleh. I think that would be a good fit there. So yeah, maybe he'd have a chance with them. But I'd like to see him if he goes to NFC. I'd like to see him in purple. I think he'd be very good. So I'm going to say absurd. I think he's going to go to an NFC team. If it's not the Vikings, I'm going to say someone else. So Voldy, who do you got?
I had my eyes set on quite possibly bringing in Njoku to Pittsburgh, believe it or not. Yeah. I feel like they could use kind of another receiving threat at that tight end position. Of course, they do have Darnell Washington, who is a mountain of a mammoth of a man to try and tackle if you've seen some of those plays he's had this season. But it all depends on who's going to be throwing him the ball. But, of course, with under Mike McCarthy, they're definitely a team that can definitely find the tight end the ball in multiple areas. Then I also thought you brought up, too, of course, maybe Tennessee. But if I had to pick an NFC team, why not reunite in the dirty with his old head coach, Kevin Stefanski, and bring it down to the ATL? It's would be an interesting proposition.
Yeah,
this is true, but Pitts is very plus or minus. I feel like,
yeah,
but,
agreed. Yeah,
this past year was finally what the Falcons had been waiting on to see with Kyle Pitts that they were waiting on the last 2-3 seasons, and maybe adding more weapons to Michael Penix would definitely be a nice luxury to have, especially with, of course, now getting an offensive-minded coach that could definitely do some things here for Michael Penix and finding ways to get him to get rid of the ball and more targets. Definitely would be greatly appreciated. But if I had to pick between AFC and NFC, I think AFC, personally. I think it's got my stamp of approval. I think you definitely want to stay somewhere a little bit more, comfortable or not. Maybe not even whether or not in the division, but, at least staying on the AFC side of things would at least deliver a little bit more familiarity for the tight end.
Fair enough. It's going to be a fun offseason. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, next one, Voldy.
Yes, we will head to the world of Major League Baseball. Of course, pitchers and catchers reporting here within the last 48 hours. And, of course, one man making his way back to where it all began for him. 3-time Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander is returning to where his career started, signing a one-year, $13 million contract with the Detroit Tigers. Now coming back for his 21st season in Major League Baseball, Verlander will be joining a very stacked rotation that does include, of course, the reigning Cy Young Award winner for the American League in Tarek Skubal, the recently acquired free agent Ian Framber Valdez, and, of course, Jack Flaherty to go along with Justin Verlander. Now, you throw all those names together and you would feel like, man, I can't believe that Verlander is going to be the number 4 starter or maybe number 3 starter, where 3-4 years ago, Verlander was a surefire number 1 starter. Of course, riding the highs and lows after a 2025 season in San Francisco, the back end of his tenure in Houston, now coming back to where it all started with the Detroit Tigers. And of course, that rotation that I just mentioned with Skubal, with Valdez, and of course now Jack Flaherty in there, recently acquired for them. Now you throw in Verlander. Just those 4 starters alone, 5-starter could definitely be picked up a young guy or some of the other quality pitchers that they've had over the last couple of years. Is it absurd or proved the Detroit Tigers rotation is the best in Major League Baseball?
Man, you know, it's interesting when you see this because the Tigers are in the Twins division and they're going out and signing a lot of top-end pitchers. You know, it must be nice having that. Yeah, it must be quite nice. Anyway, yeah, I would say so. Look, they have a really, really, really good rotation. Like you mentioned, Skubal, Valdez. They lost Olsen for the year, but they add Justin Verlander, so that kind of somewhat patches things up. Does he still have it in him? I'd say so. I mean, he's been very serviceable and whatnot. He goes back to Detroit, where he's very familiar with. It seems to me that Detroit's doing what the Twins are failing to do, and that is get pitching. I haven't done that in a while. But there's just a lot of studs on this pitching staff. And in order to be successful in the MLB, you have to have a really good starting staff. The Tigers, unfortunately, have that. Now, I think it's a different story when you look at kind of their lineup and whatnot for their first basemans, the outfield and everything like that. But as long as you can have pitchers that can win you games and whatnot, you're pretty much set. So, yeah, I hate to do it, but they're pretty. If they're not there, they're pretty damn close. I think they're probably up there because when you have a guy that's won a Cy Young, and when you keep adding more guys like Valdez and whatnot, they're going to be a good team. So watch out for the Tigers this year, unfortunately, but I'll give it my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting year for the Detroit Tigers, given the fact that they have invested so much with their rotation and, trying to make things up on the back end with not only, their lineup too, but try to fill out a couple pieces in the bullpen for this AL Central, which is always up for grabs. Honestly, there is no team coming into each year that's a surefire, this team's going to win the division hands down. It's always very much up in the air. There's a couple teams can be like, yeah, they could make a run. Yeah, they could be, a feisty squad, but it's like, with Detroit, now you're looking at, of course, you have the reigning Cy Young Award winner, and you also add in a couple of key veterans too with Valdez, who was definitely a very nice get for them. Of course, acquiring him, signing him for a 3-year deal. You've got Jack Flaherty, who is still very much a productive pitcher, even though a couple up and down years, I would certainly say. Then you've got the ultimate veteran back with, of course, experience in Justin Verlander, getting back him in his old home ballpark, and just kind of rounding off that rotation certainly is very scary to see too. And you just hope that the defense and hitting behind those starters can come through in that regard. I would certainly say yes as of right now. That rotation in Detroit, and this will make Mikey Lawrence very happy as well because he's a Detroit Tiger fan as well. Very happy to hear that Detroit's got the best rotation in baseball.
It's good. I mean, the dream of possibly having Kate Upton on this show just went down a lot. It's disappointing. I blame the poll ads. It's their fault. It's their damn fault. If they would spend money, you never know. All right. Last one. Voldy.
When you thought college football couldn't get any weirder with everything that we've seen over the years with NIL, the transfer portal, the college football playoff, let's head back to the NCAA and the FCS level where Montana linebacker Solomon Tuliaupupu was named, of course, to enter the 2026 season and granted a 9th year of eligibility. That's right. You heard that correctly. ninth season
Oh
of college
my
football
God.
for Solomon Tuliaupupu. Of course, he started his career back in 2018 at USC and was sidelined for his entire
that's
undergraduate
impossible!
campaign at USC after two season-ending requiring surgeries for his foot and also his knee. That happened 2018 and 2020. The school also announced not only the return of Tuliaupupu, but also sixth-year offensive lineman Dylan Jemnegard. He will be back for another season for the Grizz. Of course, Montana has been quite interesting to see their play over the last handful of seasons with, of course, their run through the FCS playoffs and matchups against their in-state rival in Montana State. Now we will see them back on the field one more time with Tuliaupupu heading into his ninth year of college football. Of course, you throw in the COVID year in the mix. 9 years. That's a lot of years. But is it absurd or approved? Will Solomon Tuliaupupu help and get the Grizz back into the FCS playoffs this coming season?
Well, I think someone has finally surpassed Antoine Winfield Jr. Voldy.
We surpassed that about 3-4 years ago with all these COVID super seniors.
Super. Oh my gosh. A lot of people go to college for 9 years, Voldy.
Yeah, they're called doctors.
Yes. Well said.
I was really hoping you were going to set me up with that.
I teed you up with that, so I'll cheers you to that. First of all, what a name. I feel bad for him, to be quite honest. I'm sure he got teased a lot as a kid. But, when you're 26, right? He turns 26 in March. Yes. Which is, it's definitely old for college. But at the same time, too, I was thinking like ninth season. Oh, God, he's got to be 31 years old. No, he's only 26. Oh, okay. Well, that's not terrible. Injuries, you feel bad for him. The injuries, you add COVID with this whole situation, and now you're playing with Montana, who, again, Montana's been up there in the FCS for very competitive, I should say, more like. And they've been very good, and it seems to me like he's kind of, accepted the whole, situation, but being able to play like he has been and recording quarterback, or in 2022 he had 10 tackles, 3 for loss, 1 quarterback hurry. Who knows? He could bring a lot of wealth and knowledge to how he wants to play and whatnot, and it seems like Kennedy is going to get him involved right away. And it just seems like this is you got to have an OG. I feel like you got to have an OG on the squad. And having him as a veteran and has kind of seen it all, I like it. I think it's a great story. I think it's a lot of fun. I think, why the heck not? I'm going to give it my stamp of approval. You never know. This guy could really do some awesome things. It would be a great story if they win the FCS championship. But, yeah, I say they're going to get to playoffs. Stamp of approval. So, Voldy, what do you got?
I feel like at this point, this guy's got nothing to lose. I feel like aspirations for the NFL might be on the lower side of things. Of course, NFL teams not really looking for 26-year-old rookies that aren't starting quarterbacks right off that, but you never know. Guy impresses and does some things here this season. You would feel like coming into his 9th year of college football, he would have a leg up or two on some situations and might be a great football player, but with the FCS and, of course, at the, Montana level, too, there's some tough teams out there, especially given the conference that they play in. I believe they're in the Big Sky Conference, so they'll be quite interesting to see, especially with those matchups against Montana State. They're always a tough team to play, and certainly enjoy watching those matchups, too. You know what? I say, I think Montana might have an interesting road ahead of them. They can get their offense going behind that defense first-year head coach for them, too, after their previous head coach. He got hired at Montana, or no, I shouldn't say, got hired at Illinois to be their defensive coordinator. Be a few question marks coming into the year, but watch out. Hopefully Solomon can stay healthy for a whole season and, finish off his career the right way, and that be on the field, hopefully with a good run underneath him.
Why not? It's a fun story. Let's see how he does. Shout out to him. All right, that'll do it for ARA this time around. Great job as always, Voldy. The Shield shoutouts tonight, there are a lot of them. We've got a lot of Shield shoutouts to get to, so I say we get it going with some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shout out tonight?
Of course, at the top of the show, we talked about Super Bowl 60 and the champions in the Seattle Seahawks. But congratulations to the named players that'll be adding their names to the list of former Minnesota pro athletes that won a championship after leaving Minnesota, which included, of course, the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, featuring quarterback Sam Darnold, Chaz Surratt, Cam Akers, and Shaquille Griffin. But also winning includes former Gophers, that being Nick Boye Mafe, as well as East Ridge High School alum Ty Okada, that will be Super Bowl champions. So congrats to those players there for cementing their legacy as Super Bowl champions. And we're going to finish things off here with a couple of sad Shield shoutouts here as we get a little bit somber. Over the weekend, it was announced that former Major League player, three-time World Series champion Terrence Gore passed away. Now, not too big of a name, but impactful in his 101 career games at the MLB level. He had no home runs, one career RBI, but ended as a key pinch runner in World Series championship runs for the Kansas City Royals, the Atlanta Braves, as well as the Los Angeles Dodgers, that did finish his career with, of course, 3 World Series championships, as Terrence Gore did pass away over the weekend. And saw earlier today, sadly, actor James Van Der Beek passed away, of course, after battling stage 3 colorectal cancer. Known for his many roles in life, of course, playing the title character on the show Dawson's Creek, but also one of the more endearing roles that he had that stands the test of time to this day, Johnny Mox Moxon from Varsity Blues, the classic tale of high school football in Texas. James Van Der Beek passed away here, the age of 43 years old, sadly. Or, yes, I believe it was 48 years old, excuse me. And sadly, as well, finishing off the Shield shoutouts, rest in peace. And sadly, 3 doors down, frontman Brad Arnold passed away months after announcing he had been battling kidney disease. Of course, you probably know some of his notable hits from his group in 3 Doors Down, and they have been making the waves all over social media. That is going to do it for Shield shoutouts this week. A very somber finish to the show here this evening.
Yes, and condolences out to the families and whatnot of those guys. Cancer sucks. I know it all. Those guys that won, congrats to them. I mean, honestly, especially Sam Darnold. It's a hell of a story, and he proved everybody wrong. And I had my doubts, and guess what? He got it done. Shouts out to him. Cam Akers. I can't believe I saw him in uniform. He must have gotten called up to the active roster then, because he was in pads and everything. So saw Cam Akers, didn't see Chaz Surratt, but so it was good for those guys. Boye Mafe, Nick Kellerup as well, Okada. So congrats, you guys are Super Bowl champions. It's something they can't take away. So that's good.
Yep.
All right, great job with Shield shoutouts as always, Voldy. We got our 2 winners. They won those hats. Congrats to Mitch Ribby and Jared Doyle. Yes. You guys will be getting these in the mail. We decided, why? It was so close. We don't need to. We did the wheel just to give suspense. But we're going to give those to those guys. They had the closest scores. So, that'll do it for the 2025 NFL season. more to come. There's more to come, my friends. So we'll see how it all goes. But if you guys are like, I want to support the guys, I didn't win in the Super Bowl thing, but I kind of want these hats. Well, we've got hats. We've got plenty of hats. And we got Vikings. We got Gophers.
Yeah,
we've got Wild. We've got Timberwolves or Seahawks or Twins, if you will, or Patriots, however you want to put it. It's up to you. We've got the hats. We got the OG hats, camo, American flag hat. We've got the sweatpants. We've got the Quarterzips, the stickers. You know the deal. We've got it. So if you guys want it, hit us up. We'll get them to you. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic for the stickers. Shout out to our guy, Will Rattel, W2 Performance at www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out our guy and the Brotherly Ballers podcast with Tyler Hermann. Jack Vickers doing a fantastic job as always. TLS Performance, our guy Troy Stoudemire Jr. is jacked as ever. Rooting on the Gophs a lot as of late, too. So shout out to our guy, Troy. Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff and Ryne Myhrberg as well. Omni Entertainment. Make sure you check out those guys. New episodes, clips, and all that on the social medias. Make sure you check our guys out over there as well. So, yeah, that's going to do it for episode 272. Yes, 272.
Yes, sir.
More fun, more stuff coming your way. Season 7 has a lot. There's a lot to unpack. We've got a lot of stuff, exciting things coming up, too. So, off-season will be in full effect for the Vikings. Twins will be starting up. Wolves are going to be getting into kind of that playoff mode, hopefully. After the All-Star break, it looks like the Wolves are doing quite well. I think they're still leading, if I'm not mistaken. They are. 79-65 third quarter, 6:18 left. So
nice.
Enjoy the Olympics. Enjoy the Wolves. Enjoy every sport that's been going on and the Olympic Games. Skating's on right now, I think. Go Team USA. Hopefully they can bring home the gold. I'll be watching a lot of the hockey. I love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in. And remember, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.